It's Thursday, the 16th of March, 20 days from the beginning of this course that has brought you closer and closer to your true inner self, referred to as your spirit. My name is Nicholas, and I live in East Sussex, in the south of England. I started with Sahaja Yoga in the 1980s, since when thousands of people have been blessed with their self-realization, which Shri Mataji brought to nearly all areas of the planet. You are experiencing a journey towards the truth of yourselves, which makes me feel like the kind of person called a pilot, who after a long sea voyage helps a great ship, you in these weeks, into a safe harbor, which is where Mitesh will be waiting for you tomorrow, to guide you to the course's final destination and inform you of what is going to follow to sustain and continue your progress in Sahaja Yoga meditation. Now, any such a journey can often be met with obstacles, difficulties, doubts, and attempts to blow us off course. But you have managed, as our writer Rudyard Kipling wrote in his great poem, If, you have managed to hold on through them all. And we have mighty respect for that, for every one of you who joined and stayed on this course. So now a moment to recap. Yesterday, you were presented with the energies of the spirit. This evening, we'll focus on how to extend the state of thoughtless awareness, which you have already heard about and which, once experienced, you never forget. To help reach that state, let's please try to keep our attention all evening at the top of your head. The agenda for this evening's session is first, we have Nigel to take us through the energies in our head called ego and superego. Could Nigel come and say good evening, please?
Hello. Welcome, wherever you are in the world. Lovely to be here this evening. I'm Nigel, as Nick says. I'm based in London. I've been doing Sahaja Yoga for around 30 years. Clearly, I enjoy it. And a part of my task today will be to help you to enjoy it and understand a little bit more about the really cool things that come from things like thoughtless awareness.
Sounds all good, Nigel, thanks. And now there's the turn of Fadwa, please, whose meditation will help us maintain that elusive mental silence within. Oh, Fadwa, here you are. Good evening.
I hope so. So good evening, everyone. My name is Fadwa, and I'm coming to you from Canterbury in the southeast of England in the United Kingdom. And I hope you'll find this experience will take you a bit further today and as enriching in your lives as it has been in mine.
Beautiful. So after Fadwa, we'll watch a talk of our founder, Shri Mataji. This then is followed by a short presentation about Shri Mataji and her extraordinary life. So now moving on, I'm going to hand over to Nigel.
Hello again. So the topic for this session is thoughtlessness, thoughtless awareness, which is this state that we all seek in our meditation and actually seek outside of our meditation as well. It's a very important part of our evolutionary and spiritual growth, and that's why we cherish it so much. In this case, we're going to be talking about the ego and the superego, which are the if you like, the thinking engines in our brain. These are the components, the subtle components, which do a lot of good, but also if allowed to become unbalanced, can sort of impede our progress. We all know what the ego is. We've all come across the word, and it tends to be used as a pejorative. It's, you know, if you're egotistical, you know, you're quite obnoxious. But on the other side of that coin, you know, ego is the thing that gets us out of bed in the morning. It's what makes us do things. Without it, we'd be a sort of blob in the corner of the room. So it's very useful to help us to conduct ourselves through life. The superego, on the other hand, is really more attached to our emotional side. It's the aspect, as we see in this chart here, at the top of the head in the blue balloon kind of shape. It's the part of us which is more related to our conditionings, how we approach life from an emotional sort of feeling. And it's fine, you know, again, it's a part of our being that's very important, and it's crucial for us to maintain our connection with our humanity and with our life. But if it gets out of balance, then it can take over, and it can cause us problems in terms of being, you know, a little bit depressed or not as effective as we should be. So in Sahaja Yoga, when we meditate, as you'll know from the previous sessions, those of you who have been coming before, we encourage and cherish the Kundalini energy to travel up that central channel, up the middle of the body there, the Sushumna channel, and help to smooth down the ego and the superego at the top of the head. And when I say smooth down, what I really mean is to really create a space between these two entities so that we can touch the silence, because it's in that silence that real meditation occurs. It's when the thoughts have slowed down, have started to subside, and we start to touch the real joy of meditation. It's such an amazing place to be, you know. And as I said at the beginning, it's not just that we're seeking to do this as part of the meditation. We're seeking to do this as part of living. You know, we want to transmit our ability to be thoughtless into our lives, and so we enjoy this peace all the time, rather than being dragged from pillar to post and agitated by every external force that we come across. We try and build, or we try and allow this silence to build in us, so that we become very powerful in that respect. It's a deceptively powerful state, thoughtless awareness, and it achieves significant benefits for us as human beings. There are a number of ways that we enhance this state of thoughtlessness, and I'm going to give you the real secret trick here, passed down from rishi to rishi, from wise man to wise person to wise person, and through the eons, of how to achieve and retain thoughtless awareness. The secret is meditate every single day. Simple. I mean, you know, I'm not talking about being fanatic about it, but I'm saying if you're aiming to get the maximum benefit out of Sahaja Yoga, meditating every single day without fail, if you can do it, if you can manage to do it, you know, 10 minutes in the morning or whatever, every single day, you will start to perceive and benefit from the power of thoughtless awareness. And it's an incredible state to be in once we can achieve it. And it's not easy. I mean, you know, when I started, it was definitely a struggle to stop the thoughts flowing in and out of the head. But I had a secret mantra, you know, not secret, I'm joking. But I mean, I used a mantra called Neti, which says, which means nothing in Sanskrit, which is very effective for helping to help those errant thoughts on their way. So they leave me in that sort of silent state in the middle. But yeah, so it's not easy, but it is something that if we persevere, we will triumph. I give you my word on that. So with that said, I'm going to hand over to my dear colleague Fadwa to actually demonstrate this, hopefully, so we can start to feel it.
Thank you, Nigel. So we're going to start by raising our Kundalini, as we always do when we start a meditation. So our left hand is going straight up from the base of the spine to the top of the head, whilst the right hand winds over and around it. And we're going to tie a knot on top of our head the first time. When we do it the second time, same thing. And we tie 2 knots on top of our head, fixating the Kundalini up there where we want it to remain, where we are in yoga, in that union with the all-pervading. So the third time we tie 3 knots. And then we put the bandhan, the protection. We bring our right hand to the left side of our body, and with our right hand we draw a horseshoe shape around our body and back again. And that's 1. And we do it 7 times. And it's nice to close our eyes when we do this, bring our attention inside. As always, we make sure that we're sat comfortably, whether it's on the Mother Earth, on the ground, or on a chair. We slip our slippers off and have contact with the Mother Earth. That will help bring us into balance. Our back is straight, but without tensing it. Just stay relaxed. And let us start by dropping both of our hands towards the earth. If we're sitting on the ground, we can put both of our hands on the Mother Earth. And just allow all the heaviness of the day, any tension within our being, to just drain into the Mother Earth, to be sucked out of our subtle system. So we're ridding ourselves of all the excess. Because all this excess, all that excess kind of is like heat within us or obstructions that the Kundalini has to overcome. So the Mother Earth just helps us remove a lot of these obstructions, particularly from the left channel and the bottommost chakra. In Sahaja Yoga, we really don't do anything. So just be aware that there's no effort. We don't do anything. Our body is relaxed, our mind is relaxed. And we're allowing that state to find us. So meditation is not really something that you do, but a state that you are in. And that happens when your spirit comes into your attention. And that spirit unites with this cosmic power or this all-pervading power. So we're going to bring our left hand to our lap and leave our right hand on the Mother Earth or towards the earth. Our left hand is open, palm facing upwards. And we're balancing the left channel as we often do. Particularly at the end of the day, it's very useful to balance the 3 channels. So any excess emotions that are dominating us, again, can be drawn into the Mother Earth. And we're freeing ourselves from the domination of the past. So we're not stuck in those thoughts where we're analyzing everything that happened, anything that we said or someone else said, or we just let go of it all. I just surrender all the thoughts of the past. And now we're going to place our right hand on our lap and bend the left arm at the elbow, again as we often do, to balance the right side. And just allow all that excess heat that has accumulated in our sun channel, in our right channel, to escape up into the ether and the air element. So our right side is the side that is trying to manage, trying to control everything, and it culminates in that ego that thinks that it has to do everything, it has to dominate our time, dominate our schedule, our children, our life. So now we just release all that excess responsibility that we put on ourselves. And the desire to control, we just release it. I do nothing. I don't do anything. So hopefully we feel that our right palm is slightly cooler than it was. And that shows us that the right channel is coming into balance. Or if it's cool and light, it is in balance. So we're going to place the left hand back on the lap, hands open on our lap. And once again, we're going to take our attention to our heart, which we did yesterday. Placing our right hand on our heart. Our left hand is open on our lap. And really, when we are entering meditation, we want to be in the state of the spirit. Like we said, where our spirit is in our attention. So here we just desire that this spirit that resides in our heart comes into our attention. I am just this pure spirit. And we normally forget about our spirit when we're stuck in that mental place where we're normally stuck. In these thoughts that take us to the future and the past, and our spirit gets ignored most of the time. But for now, we're just bringing our attention to the core of our being. That essence that is completely unattached to anything. It is completely pure. It is whole. It cannot be harmed. And it cannot be compromised. It can only be covered by our thoughts and by our emotions. But in itself, it is complete. And what normally happens is that our ego and our superego, our mind and our intellect, are sort of reigning over us. They're like the king and the queen that are running the show. And now we would like our spirit to be that, to take over. We'd like our spirit to reign over us, to guide us, and to take us beyond these emotions and these thoughts. So we're going to do a very simple exercise. We're going to use some bija mantras, so these Sanskrit sounds, and they are hum and ksham. And so our superego on the right side of our brain is where we said our conditionings are stored. And what happens that if someone is leaning too much to the left side, or someone who uses their left side a lot, often has quite a large balloon of a superego that they really identify with. All these things from the past that dominate them, that they identify with. And sometimes the person who does lean to the past can put themselves down, but they can also allow other people to put them down. They can be quite a submissive person, what we call like a pushover. And this word hum in Sanskrit, it translates into I am. And when we say I am, it means like you're asserting that you exist, that you matter. And so we say hum a few times to say I am, I exist, I matter. It's like asserting your own dignity as well, your self-respect, your self-worth. And then on the left side of our brain is where our ego is. And our ego is the one that's constantly passing judgment, criticizing, and scrutinizing, analyzing. And that's when we say ksham, again, another Sanskrit word, which means I forgive. And what happens when we say ksham, I forgive, is that this ego deflates because we're just accepting. We're accepting ourselves, we're accepting others, and we're just humbling down. So when we say hum and ksham, it puts our ego and superego into balance. So we're going to try it today. We're going to say hum and ksham together 7 times. And as we do so, when we say hum, our right hand is placed on the right side of our brain, on the right side of our head. And when we say ksham, we place our left hand on the left side of our head. So we're going to say hum, ksham, and we're going to repeat that 7 times. We can have our eyes closed and just see how we feel. So when we say hum, our right hand is touching at the right side of our head. Ksham, our left hand is touching the left side of our head. Let's see how it goes. Deep breath and hum, ksham, hum, ksham, Sham. Hum. Sham. Hum. Sham. Hum. Sham. Hum. Sham. We can take both our hands back down to our lap, our palm facing upwards. Eyes are closed and attention on top of our head. Using our right hand, let's just raise the Kundalini a few times up the central channel, from the base of the spine, right up beyond the Sahasrara. So in Sahaja Yoga, we often use our hands. We use our right hand to raise the Kundalini whenever we feel it dropping. We can now place our right hand on top of our head on our Sahasrara chakra. And we can massage our scalp in a clockwise direction. And extend the hand above our head. Hopefully we are feeling this cool breeze, or we may be feeling heat. Don't worry about it. It doesn't really matter. But as long as you're feeling something, just keep extending your hand higher and higher. And if you don't feel anything, it doesn't matter. Again, just leave your hand about 15 centimeters above your head. And keep your attention there where your hand is. So here in Sahasrara, where no thoughts can touch us, where we are just in that silence, in that present, in the truth, in the reality. We're going to place our right hand back on our lap and keep our attention up there without any effort. We just relax. Mother, please take me deep into that silence. Let me be in yoga, in union with this all-pervading power. And just keeping our attention up there, we're going to listen to some music to take us deeper into meditation. Keeping our attention now on top of our head and our hands open on our lap, we can listen to an extract of one of Shri Mataji's speeches. Thank you. So we can now have the video of Shri Mataji's speech. Thank you.
But the basis of collectivity, the foundation of collectivity is very deep. And the deep understanding can only tell you that the basis of collectivity is detached love. Love is the only way. It's not possible to have collectivity unless and until you have detached love. French have been good at so many types of love that they have been talking about. And they have written books after books, novels after novels, and have created lots of romantic and unromantic and all kinds of atmospheres to talk of love. But the pure love, as we understand in Sahaja Yoga, is to be now expressed by Sahaja Yogis among themselves. After all, we are all human beings made by one God. And that we are all Sahaja Yogis created by one mother. So there should be no misunderstanding between us of any kind. But we must know what sometimes makes us little different. If we can understand the problems that we face, then it would be much easier for us to see why our love becomes so attached and not so detached. Starts becoming smaller and smaller, then a person just starts loving oneself only. One of the main reasons that we have this problem is because of our conditionings. We are conditioned the way that we don't know how to love. When I see the advertisements in the West, I don't know from where the West starts and where it ends and from where the East ends. But they talk of West and East, but I don't know which is the demarcating line. Can anybody tell me that? Where do we start, East and West? Because it's one round world, you see. But somehow or other there is some line, unknown line, underlying line, which creates sometimes this East and West, two types of conditionings. So when I see some advertisements, they show about, recently I saw about James Bond, that he is free to kill, and the best film for revenge. This is the advertisement. If revenge is the best way of fulfillment, then how can we love someone? So this kind of conditioning comes to us from outside. That we should not forgive anyone. We should take the revenge. And if you do not take the revenge, then you are not worthy your name. So if you cannot take the revenge, like a duel that they used to have in France quite a lot between the two persons, they would take two guns and kill each other. I mean, what a stupid idea it was. Just think of it in modern times. But it was so. So if the revenge is not taken, then it was thought to be something very sly, very low level. So a person must take revenge. History shows also the same things, that one had to take a revenge of another person who has harmed you in any way, troubled you. I think is the quality of a snake, they say. That if you step onto any snake, it follows you all his life to take the revenge. The only thing that it does all its life is to run after that person who has, by mistake, put the foot on its body. In the same way, a human endeavor I have seen in so many novels is suggested how a man gets after a person who has some way or other harmed. If we go on like this, there's no end to it. Firstly, it is absolutely absurd. For that, I will give you an example of Buddha. Very much I have been impressed by the way he said once, somebody who insulted him and abused him and said all kinds of horrible words. Then Buddha went to another village. Now this fellow felt the remorse and he went back and said, "Sir, I'm sorry, I've said these things to you. I'm really very sorry." He said, "What? When?" He said, "Yesterday." He said, "Yesterday is finished now. You are now with me today. So why are you talking about yesterday? It's finished."
So, as usual, at the end of our meditations, let us raise the Kundalini again and apply our bandha. Many thanks to you, Valua and Nigel, for helping us to go deeper, higher, and more silent within. So, continuing the course, during these weeks, you have heard us mention and heard for yourselves our founder, Shri Mataji Nirmala Devi. She is no longer with us physically, so we'd like to give you some main points, just a brief glimpse of her extraordinary life. But there is plenty more material available, including a massive written, audio and video archive of all our hundreds of talks all over the world. You can get to know about her dreams for the future, her philosophy, her endless patience and generosity, her selfless dedication to our spiritual growth, as well as the range of awards and honors she received, including those from cities and towns in America, all the way to the Arts and Science Academy in Russia. And when Shri Mataji was a little girl, she was already aware there was some special purpose to her life. Later, interrupting her medical studies, she took an active part in the movement for the independence of India. She later married, and when her children were of age, she began the work for humanity's evolution, to which she dedicated the rest of her life. So now let me take you back in time, back to a quiet seashore on the coast of India. It is sunrise in May 1970. A woman has been sitting all night in meditation, when there then follows a dramatic, life-changing experience as Shri Mataji suddenly sees and feels in an almost cosmic way the rising of her Kundalini and the spectacular opening of the seventh chakra, the Sahasrara, at the top of the head. And her quest begins. She finds that after being able to awaken the Kundalini in one person, that person is then able to raise the Kundalini in another, and so on, which she likened to one candle lighting another. This next short video about Shri Mataji was made way back around 1990. So I just want to say that if you find the picture not so clear, it is not your device. Over the years, the quality has diminished a bit, but should be, I hope, okay for tonight. So if we could have the video, please, as we join Shri Mataji during her constant traveling.
Hello, how are you?
Feeling?
You have to get it now.
I would have to.
Look after yourself. Coming next year.
Those who have felt cool breeze in their hands or from their head, please raise both your hands, please. So many. May God bless.
अगदी डोक्याशी नाही हात लावायचा. डोक्याच्या वर अदांत्री धर अदांत्री. आता ज्या लोकांच्या हातात किंवा डोक्यात थंड थंड असं वाटलं असेल किंवा काहीतरी अशी ऊर्जा वाहते असं वाटत असेल त्या सगळ्यांनी दोन्ही हात वर करायचे. अशा गती आल्यासारखं वाटलं. त्या सर्वांनी दोन्ही हात वर करायचे. दोन्ही.
Shri Mataji was born in 1923 in the very centre of India, near the town of Nagpur in the state of Maharashtra. It was her father who took her to see Gandhi when Shri Mataji was a young girl. Gandhi recognized something unique in her and suggested that the child spend some time with him at the ashram, where she became a frequent visitor over the years. Living abroad and travelling so much allowed Shri Mataji little time at her home in India, but the travelling did not stop. She regularly toured this vast country, reaching out to the people in the crowded cities as well as country villages. At the end of the 90s, the crowds who came to her public programs numbered in their thousands. But when Shri Mataji started teaching Sahaja Yoga in India back in 1970, it was only with a mere handful of people. With the initial 12 people who achieved their self-realization, Shri Mataji was able to establish Sahaja Yoga in India. Then, in 1973, Shri Mataji went to live in London.
I was telling you about how
Her husband, Mr., now Sir C.P. Srivastava, had been elected Secretary General of the International Maritime Organization, an agency of the United Nations. But in the midst of her life as the wife of a diplomat, then a mother of 2 children, and then a grandmother, Shri Mataji has devoted all her efforts to giving self-realization and bringing Sahaja Yoga to very confused societies, desperate for change. One of the effects of Kundalini awakening through Sahaja Yoga has been to help people with all kinds of serious addictions, such as drugs and alcohol, and illnesses such as diabetes and cancer. People around the world have been finding that the awakening of the Kundalini and the practice of Sahaja Yoga have helped to solve a wide variety of problems of all kinds. Now, at the beginning of the 21st century, Sahaja Yoga is being practiced in some 70 countries.
they have all combined together, integrated together, so peaceful. And they have lost all these conditionings of their so-called man-made religions or their man-made boundaries of nations and man-made ideologies. It opens out gates to everyone.
Well, we are now in the 2020s. We don't keep detailed records, but reckon Sahaja Yoga is today practiced in around 130 countries. This course has been about awakening and developing your spirituality. So there is a reason for our continuing reminders about the importance of meditating on your own, in your own time. This may not always be as easy as when you're together with others, but it still has a very positive effect at all levels and should be seen as essential to our daily life as brushing our teeth. On the website freemeditation.com.au, scroll down and you'll find the section about resources, where you can find plenty of material from the course. Yes, the course is coming to an end, and tomorrow, the final day, will start as always at 7:45 p.m. UK time. If you're just starting Sahaja Yoga, there's a beginners WhatsApp group to exchange information and meet others from the course. If you have recently joined the course, it is a good idea to make a note of the links now. They will not be visible once the session ends. If you need to view any previous sessions, they are on YouTube. Follow the link also shown later in the chat. So now, another word about our mentoring program. One thing to remember is that all of us on this side of the screen have been where you are now, with the same feelings and inner processes. I think it's due to this that feedback is showing that mentoring is proving very supportive to those who ask for a mentor, from Australia, across the world, right over to Canada. I just want to remind again that it can take place at any time, on any day, and is designed to continue beyond the course with a Sahaja Yoga practitioner who is your own mentor. If you still would like to be given a mentor, please fill out the simple form you'll find in the Zoom chat, or scan the QR code, or find it on WhatsApp and YouTube. You will then be assigned someone, which can take a day or two, so patience, please. So what awaits tomorrow, Friday? Even though we will be at the end of the course, the theme for tomorrow is, this is just the beginning. As it says on the slide, we'll look inside ourselves and see how much we have grown in awareness. As before, you are welcome to stay on after the close of this session to meet us one-on-one in breakout rooms or just access the chat for links. If this is your first time, go down to reactions on your Zoom page and raise your virtual hand. So now, may I ask Fadwa and Nigel to come back and join me again? All right. So what we want to do now is bid our farewells.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having us this evening. It was a pleasure to be here with you, and we hope to see you again.
It was an absolute honor. Hope to see you tomorrow and in the future.
Yes, it has been a pleasure sharing this evening, this course with you. And we look forward to seeing you tomorrow when we will announce the program that will follow this course, starting Monday next. So for tonight, good night. Yes, sorry, here are the ways you can access the chat from your computers or a mobile.